with the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We're not the Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Don't Hassle Us, a local on AM 1170. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Jaybird, we had a wonderful night of NFL football last night, huh?
It's crazy, the game, and what a great game. On top of it, I'm sorry to myself for being on the wrong end of the bet. I had the Browns to win straight up. At a point, they were there. They had it. It's basically if you look at it by all stretches of imagination, it's one of the best NFL games of the year, back and forth. But yeah, apologies to myself for not being on the right side. But for a while there, I thought it was there. You know, this is just the final minutes. If we go through it, at one point Baker Mayfield runs the ball in for a touchdown. They go up 35-34. I'm looking good.
Yeah.
The over's hit already.
Yeah.
I had the over and I had the Browns.
Yeah, it really went over.
Lamar Jackson had left the game because of cramps or whatever else. Some people are speculating that it's like a Paul Pierce thing. Maybe he pooped his pants. That's the speculation on the internet right now. Do you remember when Paul Pierce left in 2008 finals of the NBA?
No.
He got carried out. They said it was cramps. Like they lifted him, like two teammates lifted him and carried him out. And later on, Paul Pierce came out and said, like, I pooped my pants. He
didn't want it coming down his leg?
Yeah, he thought it was a fart and it wasn't. So
he gambled and lost.
He gambled and lost. So there's speculation out there that Lamar Jackson pulled a Paul Pierce, but he came back. Then he threw a touchdown. The Ravens go up 42-35. Then Baker Mayfield comes back, ties the score, throws a touchdown. And then Justin Tucker kicks a game-winning field goal. There were 9 rushing TDs in this game. That's the most in a single game in NFL history. The 89 points is the third highest scoring game in Monday Night Football. And that was the 8th 100-yard rushing game for Lamar Jackson.
And he took the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback on Monday Night Football. By 2 yards over, I believe, Russell Wilson.
Okay.
124 to 122.
Another odd stat, not trivia-wise, not too big, but 47-42 is the first NFL game to ever end in that score. Keep in mind, the Browns took a safety at the end of that game. Do you know what the spread was?
It was 3.
So if they take a safety and you bet on the Browns plus 3, you've lost money.
Yeah.
Including someone who had a $40,000 bet in Vegas over this. Like, this is gambling. All right. I don't think did I ever tell you about when I described what gambling was? If I have to describe gambling to
like a 5-year-old?
Yeah, I'm going to say it more to like a 15-year-old because I wouldn't say this to Ben.
Okay.
Here's what gambling is. All right? You think you have a sure thing, all right? So it's let's say when you're in high school to the homecoming dance, you ask a girl who might be flirtatious, might be okay,
right.
Good. No matter what, you still have to buy the corsage. You've got to get the tie or whatever else. You've got to match outfits. She's going to make you work. No matter if you have a lock in gambling or you have a flirtatious date to the homecoming dance, you're going to work in some way or another. Now, here are the variables in there. Like I said, you have to buy the corsage. You have to go out to dinner. Olive Garden, breadsticks, all that stuff. You've got to match
You're
ties.
15.
Yeah, you got to match ties. Now, you may think you're going to score. It is a lock. But there are other things that happen dance and post-dance. You may go to an after-dance party. Now, is that flirtatious lady, is she going to have too much to drink and maybe pass out? Who knows?
Flirt with somebody else?
Flirt with someone else? You never know. You think the entire week long.
Luck be a lady tonight. Yeah. Hey, all you got to do is play him the Sinatra song.
The entire time, it is a lock. It's a done deal. This is going to happen.
A lady doesn't go around
This
the room.
is gambling. If I could describe it, when at some point when my son's like 18, he's like, hey, I'm thinking about making my first bet or whatever else, I'm going to say, let me explain what gambling is to you.
Yeah. You got it.
It was up and down all around this game last night. Browns backers going to call in later or whatever else, but I thought the Browns had this game. They needed this game, and I kept saying during the show yesterday, but the Ravens are on the outside looking in. They might need this a little bit more. Lamar Jackson leaves. Trace McSorley comes in. I'm like,
Trace McSorley?
Sign me up for this. This parlay's perfect. Lamar Jackson comes back. What a game of emotions. But seriously, that is gambling.
Not Peter.
Huh?
Good thing the guy's name's not Peter.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, seriously, that's gambling. That's how you sum it up. When you want to explain that to your 18-year-old when they eventually want to make their first bet, you say, here's what's going to happen. Yeah. When they say, like, I've got this, I know what's going to happen. No, you don't. No, you don't. You never know. That +3, and then that safety at the end is so absolutely ridiculous. It's beyond me. Like, Vegas, you're good. Yeah. I mean, you're just good.
You're good.
Yeah. Just the craziest of all crazy. I mean, the final minutes. Browns go up, 35-34. Lamar comes back. Then they score again, and then the field goal to tie it. Like, boy, oh boy.
Well, we got a lot more NFL to talk about, everyone. We're going to do my power rankings later on. We're going to talk some college stuff with Emily Van Buskirk. She was down at the shoe game, if you will, LSU, Florida. So we'll talk to her a little bit about that. Talk to her about...
Hold on a second.
What do you got?
Chris Jump on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. And we don't do enough about this, and that I do think it has a lot to do with COVID. Chris Jump says he's up by 2 in fantasy football. And then Tucker kicks the field goal.
Yeah.
Ugh. Brutal beat.
Yeah.
You will forever remember that game, Chris. Like, you will forever remember that game. There are just games out there, and there are teams out there as well. Later on, like you said, we're going to talk to Emily Van Buskirk at 1:15 Central Time. We have a phone call with someone who's actually in the sports. Remember when we talked to Howard during the Michigan State Week from the Locker Room Audio app, Sports Audio app, which is a very interesting thing, and I suggest you guys all go out there and download the Sports Audio app. And for everybody out there who, the hassle maniacs or the anti-hassle maniacs who just think like, I could do that, these guys are ding-dongs, you can download this Locker Room Sports Audio app and create your own room and just talk about sports. And I listen actually quite frequently. I was listening yesterday to a show that was about gambling, and they could use some help. But but if you feel like you can do this type of thing, and the Locker Room Sports Audio app is a thing where you can host your own show. It can be about anything. Big Ten football. It can be about the NBA. It can be about your favorite team. And then people listen, and then they kind of like a Zoom. They raise their hand. You let them into the conversation. So, but we're going to talk to Jessica, and only because it's someone I got to know because of Howard, the CEO. I just like to hear about how she got into her sports business management degree and talk about it. And she's a Michigan alum. So she's like, please don't ask me about X's and O's. And I was like, I'm not going to. But I just want to hear about what it's like going to Michigan. And we might make a few phone calls to other people because it's Iowa versus Michigan week. We've dubbed it that. We're going to embrace this week and do everything. So, but yes, we've got your power rankings, all that other stuff. But what a crazy, crazy night. Yeah. So... we just got to embrace what's going on. Iowa versus Gonzaga this week. I like the fact that slowly the media, people like Axios Sports or CBS, are getting involved in. They're actually knowing what Iowa basketball is.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You'd think like they're going through the whole thing that, Luka Garza's averaging over 30 a game, and he's averaging a double, and he's only getting, I think, total like 25 minutes. But yeah, slowly now Iowa's getting recognition. We talked about this earlier, that the whole thing, I truly believe I think the COVID is something that does affect teams, and I think Iowa will take Gonzaga. Straight up. I doesn't mean that they're going to get the recognition that they want. They did get one vote for first place in the AP poll.
Was it Kaker?
I don't know. We should ask him. He's got 2 Zoom calls today. That's why he cannot be on today. He's got player one at I think at 12:30, and I think then they've got Coach Ferentz at 1:30 our time. So, but yeah, we're not gonna. I just didn't want to bother him with any of that. But yeah, I mean, what an impressive game. It's weird that to go through all these sports and the way I was going back and forth to Iowa City to have this week like wide open is pretty nutty to me, and not to be able to go to the game. I mean, I wasn't going to go to the game in Sioux Falls anyway, but no one can because they shut that down in South Dakota.
Well, if Bomber's listening, by the way, she did win outright.
Oh, because she took Baltimore
on the money line. So Leah, look at you.
Yeah,
number one again.
I hope she's listening.
She really wins that more than anything. I can't understand why she's so good at the money line.
She's good at money line. She always has been. I mean, the whole thing started like why? And so you went down to Mexico in January.
Yeah.
And I reached out to her and I was like, hey, do you want to be on the show just to talk about it? Because she would put out on Facebook like her moneyline bets, and she would do parlays, and there was she was being very successful, and then there was one, I think it was like San Francisco, Kansas City. I can't remember what it was, or she needed San Francisco like on Monday Night Football to just cover moneyline, and she put out there how much she was going to win in a parlay moneyline, and I messaged her and I said that was the kiss of death. I remember exactly where I was. I was walking the dog. I said, you should have never done that. That was a kiss of death. You're in trouble. She's like, oh, no, we'll see. And then so I'm like, you got to come on air and talk about it.
It was a kiss of death?
Oh, yeah, it was a kiss. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Well, Erickson says on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread that this is a month of bad beats, but it's not true. There's so many bad beats out there. Gamblers are like wrestlers.
Yeah.
They'll tell you about the losses. They'll never tell you about the wins. And that's my favorite thing about it. If you ever have the time, and this is to the younger crowd, when you're actually at a tavern and you're in a bar stool and someone tells you how good they were at wrestling, they were not good at wrestling. A decent wrestler tells you about the people that beat him up and remembers names. I've had a referee raise my hand multiple times. I don't remember any of them. Right. I can tell you about all the losses to people that I lost to and who beat me up. And I mean, I've run into people just in life in general and been like, oh man, we were up at Iowa City High duels. Remember when you worked me in overtime, or even rarely stuck me, but you beat me? No. Like, oh yeah, I remember that match. It means nothing to them.
Right.
The bad beats you remember. You don't remember the ones that no one wants to hear about your wins. It's kind of like what leads to what you're in. And before we go to break, I want to talk about this. This has been a weird year, and I thought about this earlier. Not a lot of people are talking about fantasy football.
No, it was crazy. I mean,
so you're in the Super Bowl.
I'm in the Super Bowl it's called the Big Time League. I've been in this league for since 2006, 14 years. There's been times when I've had the number one team and got beat in the playoffs. I've been in the Super Bowl against Luna, lost to him. Haven't made it to maybe a couple Super Bowls, but I think just one, if I remember right. But this is my first actual opportunity, I think, to actually win one. It's a tough league. But so I got Driller. I last night needed 6 points out of Chubb to make it, and he blew up, so that was great. So I got to beat Billy McAllister down. He deserved it. Take that, Billy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, but other leagues, you and I were in that one, the kind of that more, not the high stake one, but it was the knockoff version of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where we do a auction draft, and you know, I got really screwed in that one. And a lot of my top paying guys just didn't pay off. Michael Thomas, Chris Godwin, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
didn't have great years.
But it was just like, I don't know why. I feel like in past years it was always like on a Sunday. I mean, because we were together last Sunday, and the Sunday before I was with the Fisher Brothers or whatever, and people would be like, "I need this guy to go off on fantasy."
I don't think a lot of people did it this year because they weren't sure what's going to happen with the COVID.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, that's really. I mean, we were down. Normally, this league too is a 12-person league, and we're down 2 teams. But that's fine. I mean, 10 still even more competitive, I think.
Yeah, User A says in the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, people only want to hear about your pain. Talking about wins is just bragging. Nobody likes a bragger. But when it comes to fantasy, like a lot of people always want to share their fantasy.
Oh man, yeah.
Wins or losses or whatever else.
Well, I'm hoping for the best. If drillers out there listening, good luck. You're gonna need it.
And then he goes on. User A's goes on to say, "I think COVID has just sucked the life out of anything fun. College football playoffs,
really
fantasy,
has.
attendance,
I mean,
sports.
it's really screwed so many things up. I mean, listen, the college football playoffs. We've talked about this a million times. It's not nearly as exciting as it was in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a look at because there's some things about college football and SEC that we need to talk about. But we do need to take our first break of the hour. We will be right back on ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us. We're local. Thank you for joining in on the app or wherever else you listen to us.
All right, folks. Remember, locally owned and operated, our friends at Tri-City Equipment have been around since 1934. They have the best value on restaurant equipment and supplies. All you need to do is go down to 527 West 4th Street and check out their newly remodeled 2,400-foot square foot showroom with over 1,600 items in stock. Or you can check things out online at tricityequipment.com. Remember, they deliver to all Quad City residents and they match online pricing. So no need to shop at any of the big box stores. You have Tri-City Equipment. Give them a call today, 563-322-5382, and they can answer any of the questions you need. The hours for the showroom are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's Tri-City Equipment, 527 West 4th Street in Davenport.
You like that? You like that? Woo!
This is UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
If you're craving old-fashioned Mexican food, it's that Nally's flavor that you're after. You've got to go to Nally's Kitchen. Nally's makes everything from scratch daily and has some of the most unique items in the Quad Cities area. Try their homemade guisado, guarches, and gorditas, or enjoy their delicious tacos and burritos. Check out Nally's Express menu and get your food in 15 minutes or less. Order online at nallyskitchen.com and have Nally's delivered to your home or business today. Nally's Kitchen, old-fashioned Mexican cooking, Rockingham and Division, Davenport.
I'm Steve Weitz with NFL Network, now on the Westwood One Radio Network. A Monday night thriller in Cleveland. Lamar Jackson finished with 3 touchdowns, including a 44-yard toss to Marquise Brown after Jackson missed 2 drives in the locker room with cramps. Then, in the fourth quarter, the MVP led a 6-play, 38-yard drive, setting up a Justin Tucker game-winning 55-yard field goal to take the lead with 2 seconds left and beat the Browns 47-42 on Monday Night Football. The Eagles named Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback for Sunday's game against the Cardinals. Hurts helped Philly snap a 4-game losing streak and remain alive in the NFC East. Cowboys Vice President Stephen Jones said there will be no coaching change in Dallas. Speaking to 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, Jones said he has the utmost confidence that this ship is going to be righted quickly, said that Mike McCarthy is going to be the leader of this group. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
What's in store this holiday at your local Staples?
Missile Toner and Ink Nog.
'Tis the season to save big on ink and toner at Staples.
Right now, get 30% back in Staples Rewards when you spend $75 on ink or $175 on toner.
Shop in store or pick up curbside.
Give your printer the gift of ink or toner this holiday and receive 30% back in Staples Rewards.
In store only. Ends 12/26. Curbside available in most stores. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/30 in rewards for details.
This season, over 1,000 NFL players participated in My Cause, My Cleats by wearing customized cleats in support of the causes they're passionate about.
Woo! I like that!
Fans can also bid on player cleats at NFL.com/auction.
There you go, there you go!
And help raise funds for the causes nearest to their hearts.
That's why I'm here! Heck yeah! Woo!
It takes you. It takes me. It takes all of us to be part of a movement for the greater good.
As the weather gets cold outside, TMI is warming people up inside with huge savings. Right now, save up to $2,800 on a new high-efficiency home comfort system with manufacturer and utility rebates. And pay later with no money down and no interest for 6 months upon approval. You can count on TMI to provide you with the best warranties and customer satisfaction guarantees anywhere. Call today for your free estimate. From your friends at TMI, have a safe and happy holiday season.
Pointing you in the right direction.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
Two things. Number one, it feels like Adam Gase, it feels like this is a last-ditch effort. Not to save his job, but I think to save his respectability, right? To try to say maybe a future job. Like, I'm trying to do things right. While I'm on my way out the door here, I'm going to try to sit here and say, it's like a confession, essentially, saying like, hey, look, I messed up. I haven't handled my responsibility. That's number one. Number two, I think it's going to be harder and harder to go away from the hype that's going to come with Trevor Lawrence. If you're a New York fan, if you're a Jet fan, you're also worried about maybe even if we do surround Sam Darnold with the right skill sets or the right players, maybe this is who Sam Darnold is. Maybe he never blossoms out of this. It takes a really strong personality to bear out of that and say, that's not who I am. Maybe this is who Sam Darnold is.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
Excuse me.
Hey, this is the ladies' room, you freak!
Sorry, ma'am. We just sold this bike here.
So why do you have motorcycles in the bathroom?
Well, you see, Brenny's just received the new Suzuki motorcycles and ATVs that have been on order and are finally here. Along with all the parts and new Suzuki accessories, there's just no space left. Just a few short years ago, we built a 20,000 square foot showroom. And now with all this new inventory, we don't have squat for room. Excuse the pun.
Very funny. Hey, you know, I do like this new Suzuki motorcycle.
You should see the GSXRs we got in the men's bathroom, or the 1200 Bandit, or the Marauder that we keep down in the wine cellar. Come to think of it, I've never been in the ladies' bathroom before. Wow, look at all the latex vending machines you got in here.
That's Playtex.
Yuck, now I gotta go.
Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic in Bettendorf across from Alcoa. Almost.
Download our app today and listen to sports from anywhere in the world. This is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us Local here on AM 1170.
Well, I just need to. I'm just prepping because I would just want to remind you, T. Roy, that we don't have a producer. So I'm prepping for a phone call that we're going to make soon to Jessica Albers. That's going to happen.
Are we going to call her before I do the power rankings? Or should we do the power rankings?
Well, if that's what you want to do, what I need to do also, because I also want to remind you one more time that we don't have a producer. So I need to pull up the.
It's a good thing you remind me because I seem to forget.
Yeah, I know.
I look at that window every day and I think I see a face in there, and then I realize it's my own.
Yeah, it's not. It's funny that to call someone and to message someone in Los Angeles to be like, hey, because the boss says make sure they know, and after I send 3 times. We're going straight to air because we don't have a producer.
The bosses are.
And then I have to tell you this too also, but we need to do the power rankings or whatever else. So, so it's...
we have a lot on our plate. We don't just screw around during these breaks, folks.
No.
I mean, we're actually working.
Did we do anything? I think we were screwing around this last break.
You might watch us on camera and you think we're doing nothing, but I was out there strategically setting things up to beat Miller the Driller, who I found out on break is in 2 Super Bowls. So good luck to you, sir, in both.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about before we went to the break. Like, I wish I was. I don't think I've ever been very good on like the waiver wire, but this year was even worse. I was like, oh yeah, it's Wednesday. Never mind. I didn't put anything in the waiver wire for fantasy.
So many guys just like slipped through my fingers. Antonio Gibson, I had him and then I dropped him. That was really smart.
What I want to put in your brain right now, though, before we get into this, is I was thinking about, the Steelers and their 2 losses and whatnot. and they had a good season going on, and you popped the champagne for the 72 Dolphins. But I was thinking about this. Like I said, most of my ideas come from either when in the morning, either workout or I'm driving, and I was thinking, what is the best NFL seasons out there? And then I was thinking even further, if we were going to expand on that, what is the best team out there that you're like, obviously your own fan base, you know what I'm saying? But like
what year?
Yeah.
Well,
like
obviously
dominating like college football or dominating like baseball team or whatever else. I mean,
72 Dolphins are there. Obviously the 85 Bears.
Okay.
The 92 Cowboys.
Okay. There's a list by Bleacher Report that I can take you through that will give you the one versus all the way through. But yeah, there's plenty though that you think of, and there's also some that were before.
You still got to go Is it the 07? What was the almost undefeated?
That was the 07-08 Super Bowl. The
Right.
07, yeah, they were undefeated going into the Super Bowl.
07 Patriots.
Yep.
And the only reason I put the 92-93 Cowboys, there wasn't much difference, but that 92 team was the one that would have broken the scoring record for the Super Bowl if it hadn't been for Leon Lett. That was their first one. I know in 94 they had prime time, and they were still really damn good. But I liked that 92 team. I'd put that 92 team against anybody. I want to say they were 12-4 regular season, maybe 13-3. But I think they were 12-4.
So,
but 07 Patriots. I'd have to put the Broncos team from a few years back, the one with Peyton Manning. Was that the 15 Broncos?
That would have been 15, yeah.
Yeah. That was a really, really good team. I mean, they were 14-2. And I'm going to throw teams in here that didn't always win the Super Bowl, too. So, obviously, we threw the 07 Patriots on there. That 98 Vikings team with
oh boy,
was that?
I've mentioned that so many times about
that was
how I was up there and Atlanta was coming to town and we got snowed in. We didn't get to travel back. I traveled to the Twin Cities and I mentioned this multiple times about how the article in the Star Tribune said like Falcons shouldn't even pack their bags to come up here.
You've got I want to say the 76 Steelers.
Yeah, they're in here. So I'll give you the Bleacher Reports.
And then there's got to be one of those 70s Cowboys teams. I want to say Dallas won it in 70s. They beat the Broncos in 76.
You're thinking of the 78 Steelers, 14-2.
78.
Yeah, Super Bowl champions.
And maybe it was the 76 Cowboys that beat the Broncos.
Just the one article, and I haven't researched this way too much. Like I said, it was just off the top of my head, and and this is we are going to paperclip this conversation, but the things that you have in there,
there's
like
a couple Steeler teams that could be in there too, because
there's things that are
you could go 78 and 79 because I think they
before
went back
our time.
to back. Yeah, I'm going to do two Steeler teams are in there.
There's a 62 Green Bay Packers that were NFL champions. They went 13-1.
I'm just going to go Super Bowl era.
Okay.
There was a 14-2 Packer team that did not win it all as well, or it might have been 15-1.
You got the 89 49ers.
Oh yeah,
they were 14-2.
Yeah, God, I forgot about the 49ers.
You've already mentioned the Bears. You mentioned the 78 Steelers. The 1991 Washington Redskins.
Yeah, the 91 Skins were tough. That was the Mark Rippon Skins. What
the thing I like most about this thing is that
Packers team that didn't win the Super Bowl, but it was the year after they did. Was that the 2012 Packers or 2010?
I don't know. Let's see.
Rodgers had taken over for Favre. Boom, boom, boom. Came in.
The 96. I don't know anything about the 96 Packers. Like, I know they were 13-3, but you can't give me a single thing about that team.
It was Brett Favre. It was.
That I remember. That was on my birthday. That was January 26, 1997.
Trophy
that won
went
that.
to, or the Heisman winner won the MVP for the Super Bowl. Desmond Howard won the Super Bowl MVP. That's a pretty.
I remember. I mean, that was my 21st. That was my 21st birthday when they won the Super Bowl. They beat the Patriots in that, but
that's a good team. Had Reggie White.
You mentioned earlier the 70s. There's a 75 Steelers team that was 12-2. So you got 78, 75. So 76, you're right. 2004 Patriots. 77 Cowboys.
Yeah,
they were 12-2.
Yeah, that was the one. 77.
This is an interesting one that's overlooked. We got Browns backer.
Hey, there he is.
You ready?
Big man on campus. What you got, bud?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
So, Survivor Pool.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
This is Browns backer on the phone, by the way. Down to 7,000 people left.
Survivor Pool expert, supposedly.
Yep.
We are down to 6,500 people.
Ooh.
After we started with 540,000 people.
Right on.
Your boy is still alive.
Love it.
We had Tennessee last weekend over Jacksonville. Easy peasy. That was over at halftime. This week, I got a slam dunk, which is I have the Rams still available.
Okay.
So I've got them over the Jets at home, hoping this isn't like the trap game from hell.
No way.
Jets are still in the race with the Seahawks, so I think the Rams are in the race with the Seahawks for the
NFC
top
West
spot in the West. So I think they'll be playing for something.
Okay. And the Jets are just trying to tank for.
And what do you got left then? And what are you going to have to be able to take for week 16 and 17 then?
Week 16, I'm going to have my team, which I hate betting on for or against, but I'll talk about that here in a second.
Love it.
But it looks like I'm going to have the Browns over the Jets, and then the last week of the season I'll have the Patriots over the Jets.
Dude.
I think my road is pretty much paved with sharing $1 million with whoever is coming along with me for the ride.
Brother.
This has been a real
Dude,
year.
Dude, that's really awesome.
That's so cool.
God, I hope this really works for you, because the only thing I think that stops you is the Patriots laying an egg.
Exactly.
And is that...
And I haven't really looked at the last week. I just saw Jets.
That's at New England.
And I knew I hadn't picked them. But I haven't really looked at who else is playing that last week that I don't have. Like this week, if I didn't take the Rams, which obviously was a duh, it was going to be a slam dunk, the only other game that would even have made sense would have been Philadelphia and Arizona.
No.
But Philadelphia with the Jalen Hurts thing going on, I don't know.
Yeah.
Browns backer, I am with you, man. I'm excited. You stick with the path you just told us.
Indeed. That's what I'm going to do for sure.
Unless something pops up week 17 that looks even tastier than that, you call back. I got this.
Hey,
I got this. This is going to be great.
What do you guys think about betting 4 against your team?
It's
some people love to do it. I can't do it.
I'll bet for my team if I'm 100% confident against like another person.
Yeah.
Like I don't do it
But
against
not actual,
not Vegas.
Not going to Elite Sportsbook, Rhythm City Casino.
Yeah, really. I like
placing a little wager.
Realistically, for me, it is when it's a no-brainer, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, this is insane. I have to like they're handing out money, so it's kind of like Iowa at home against Wisconsin. They're getting a point, and some places even 2. I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm taking Iowa. Same thing on Sunday morning when I wake up and the over/unders at 149 or 151, depending on where you got it at for the basketball game. I was like, I have to do it. Like they're just forcing my hand. Usually I don't, because you lose that bet and they lose the game, you're upset. You win that bet if they're getting points and they don't win the game, you're upset. So usually I stay away from betting 4 against my team. But if you force, if Vegas is going to force my hand, I'm going to take it.
Let's see. I've been watching you on Facebook. You've been calling them Hawkeye basketball teams on the over. You've been calling that every time.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, Iowa's at a race on their bench to get to 100. The only thing that worried anything about Sunday was can Northern Illinois get to 60? And when it was so I would assume it was going to be 159.5. And when it came up at 151 when I woke up, when I looked at it, and I was just like, they got to get to 50. Come on. Like, even if Luka only plays 25 minutes, if Joe only plays 25 minutes. If Connor, I can go down the list. The bench is still going to score for Iowa. And, I guess if we go further down the bench with Keegan and Austin and all those other guys coming in, the defense might be a little bit more transparent, and Northern Illinois can score. So that's where I was just like with that.
The beauty of the shot clock.
Yes.
Have you guys brought up the backdoor cover that happened at the end of the game last night?
We sure did, and I would love to talk to you about the Browns.
Dude.
What happened?
That's why I don't bet against my team. Holy smoke.
Cut someone $40,000 in Vegas on that safety.
How many millions change hands do you think just on that play?
Oh, it's incredible. I can send you links of multiple people that I read, that I follow, that said, bet the under last night. Are you kidding me? Bet the under? It's like the fifth most highest points scored in Monday Night Football history. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think. I really was rooting for your Browns. I thought they were going to pull it off, but.
I think if you weren't living in Baltimore, I think you were rooting for the Browns last night.
Yeah, I was. But I had them. I had them in a money line parlay. So
they're still looking solid for the playoffs. I don't think you have much to worry about.
No, but even the announcer last night after that play happened kind of snickered and giggled on there and was like, "Well, it's a 5-point game now."
Yeah, it was a crazy.
Vegas rules the world. All right, I'm out, guys.
All right, buddy. Thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate you.
You got it.
Yep.
See you.
Bye. All right, we're going to have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to call Jessica Albers from Locker Room Sports Audio app, and she's a Michigan alum, just to talk a little bit about the game this week, but more about how she got to where she's doing now and her sports management degree and all that stuff. And 1:15, we'll talk to Emily Van Buskirk. In between there, we'll do our power rankings. So thanks to Browns backer for calling in, but we got to take a quick break.
All right, everybody, we tell you every day to shop and buy local, and the best way to figure out who to use is through our friends at Locals Love Us. They have this nice little guide. It's all over town with an easy-to-navigate table of contents to help you find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for lunch like Jay and I did today, we went over to Lindy's Heroes.
That's right.
Very good hero, by the way. Right there on Harrison as you're heading down the hill just across from Central High School. But hey, if you don't take our word for it, check out Locals Love Us online. Go to localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and they'll pull it up for you, and you can browse the favorites. They rank the most popular places for you. So please check them out. That's my boy Chop Choppa and our friends at Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
You like that? You like that? Woo!
This is Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too. There's no cost and no obligation. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Get started today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahinte.
Two things. Number one, it feels like Adam Gase. It feels like this is a last-ditch effort. Not to save his job, but I think to save his respectability, right? To try to say maybe a future job. Like I'm trying to do things right. While I'm on my way out the door here, I'm going to try to sit here and say, it's like a confession, essentially, saying like, hey, look, I messed up. I haven't handled my responsibility. That's number one. Number two, I think it's going to be harder and harder to go away from the hype that's going to come with Trevor Lawrence. If you're a New York fan, if you're a Jet fan, you're also worried about maybe even if we do surround Sam Darnold with the right skill sets or the right players, maybe this is who Sam Darnold is. Maybe he never blossoms out of this. It takes a really strong personality to bear out of that and say, that's not who I am. Maybe this is who Sam Darnold is.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
It's the 12 days of Christmas at the Circle Tap. The 12th through the 23rd, stop in and enter to win 12 $10 gift cards from local Quad Cities businesses. Every day from the 12th through the 23rd, one person will win $120 worth of gift cards to places like Firehouse, Off Point Pub, Gonzo's, Rudy's Tacos on West Kimberly, Double D Diner, and more. Enjoy the 12 days of Christmas along with great food, great drinks, and great friends all season long at the Circle Tap, West Locust Street, Davenport.
Janae and Golick Jr.
We're going to get probably IU and Northwestern in the Big Ten title game, and then have people staring up and wondering here, is Ohio State going to make it? I could see a very real world where they're missing the playoff all of a sudden. It's less to me about the sanctity of a conference championship, which has never, quite frankly, meant all that much to me. It's about another data point. And the Big Ten creating an opportunity for Ohio State to have that chance to show the committee yet again, because that's what conference championships really are. Not something you can hold over Notre Dame's head as an independent for all these years, but an opportunity when all the committee is watching to go out there and show we deserve to be a part of this, because with the schedule they've played so far, with the performances Ohio State's put out there, I think you would have a hard time saying that resumes mean anything and allowing that Ohio State team in the playoff as it currently sits.
Janae and Golick Jr. 306 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Where do you shop for a diehard sports fan? Sports Unleashed, of course. Sports Unleashed will be open until Christmas with the best selection of NFL, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise. You'll find team logos on everything from clocks to lamps, drinkware like coffee mugs and travel mugs, and accessories like beanies and gloves, as well as personalized sports pictures. Lots of great stocking stuffers. Visit Sports Unleashed at South Park Mall in Moline, but do it soon because Christmas will be here before you know it.
Ace Muffler Clinic has been serving the Quad Cities area for over 60 years. There's a reason why our customers continue to trust us with their vehicles. We can fix almost anything. We can fix your muffler, tune your brakes, change your oil, change your tires, replace your battery, customize your exhaust, tune your engine, repair your suspension, replace your radiator and your water pump. Align your automobile, refill your transmission fluid, and change your filters. And we believe in doing all those things right the first time. For fast, friendly service, visit Ace Muffler Clinic at 4th Ave and 15th Street in Rock Island.
The biggest hits. You found them right here on your sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Don't Hassle Us Local, AM 1170. Jaber, are we making that call?
Yeah, we're going to make that phone call now. I'm going to call my friend Jessica, who works for Locker Room Sports Audio app, and we're going to go straight to air when she answers. I just am interested. I think if you're new to the show, just realize how much we champion women in sports in any way whatsoever, and we really like it. And so I just like to talk to her. She's a Michigan alum. And
hey there, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, this is Jay, and this is my co-host T-Roy here on Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Thank you so much for taking our phone call.
Yeah, my pleasure. How you guys doing?
We're doing well.
Doing great. Looking forward, hopefully, to a football game, but we're getting news across the line there might be in jeopardy.
Yeah. The Michigan-Iowa game might be in jeopardy.
That again, my AirPods are popping in and out.
That's fine.
Technology is escaping me.
Well, obviously, like I messaged you last week that luckily enough, when we first talked to Howard from Locker Room Sports Audio app, it was the Michigan State week. So what we want to do is we want to talk to people from Michigan. And you went to the University of Michigan. Iowa's going to play Michigan this week, but now we're hearing news that maybe because of COVID, that game's not going to happen. But really what I wanted to talk to you about is what we do here at the show is we really, really, truly do champion women in sports in any way whatsoever. So you went to the University of Michigan, right, Jessica?
I did, yes, very proudly so.
Very proudly so. And what was that like? Did you go to a lot of games there at the big house?
Yeah, I went to every one I could. I feel like I probably only missed a small handful in my 4 years. And I grew up in Michigan. So my family, my parents went to Michigan, my sister. So to me, the big house was a very normal sized stadium. And it took many years until I realized that is absolutely not the case. But yeah, I grew up a big Michigan fan and loved going to the football games, made it to some hockey games, some baseball games. Even went and watched my friend do toms at maybe a lacrosse game. So there was a lot to do. It was a great experience.
That's really cool. And you're actually from a suburb of Detroit, right?
I am. Yep, just the north suburbs of Detroit.
Oh, okay. So like when the Journey song "Don't Stop Believin'," born and raised in South Detroit, that doesn't hit home to you?
No, it totally hits home. We all like to pretend that we deeply relate to that line, but yeah, we get very excited, but it's not true.
Jessica, so we stumbled across, I think back in October, the Locker Room Sports audio app, and luckily enough, Howard was nice enough to be a guest on our show, and I've got to get to know you through that as well. Can you tell everybody, just refresh our listeners again, what the Locker Room Sports audio app is?
Yeah, so Locker Room is a new sports social networking app that we just released a couple of months ago, and we've been so excited to see how well it's performed. The basics of what it is it's a live sports chat room. And so you go in and you're just using your voice, so it's strictly audio, like you and I are having a conversation right now. Mm-hmm. And you talk about sports, you talk about culture, anything that interests you. So you can just finish, watching an Iowa game and want to talk to other Iowa fans and hop on Locker Room, join a room that's already happening, or create your own room and talk to fans from all over the country and just kind of have that conversation that I think we've all had in a sports bar or on a friend's couch, or what have you, and have it in the comfort of your own home or wherever you are.
And I think that's what we enjoy the most about it, because when we talk, even here, we're in the Quad Cities in Eastern Iowa, Western Illinois, and there's going to be the occasional people that say that, oh, I can do whatever Jay and T-Roy do. What we've been championing you guys is saying that, like, you guys have the opportunity to do this, create your own, your own room, your own topic and everything else. And you can just put the phone in front of you and you can invite people into the room and in the conversation. So that's why we're pushing this so hard, because there's a lot of people out there that want to be like guests on our show. And we actually open the door to our studio to have people come on during the COVID, not so much anymore, but that's what we like so much about your sports audio app.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about sort of giving access to anyone who wants to have a sports conversation, whether in sort of a more formal setup such as yourselves, or even just, much more casual. Both we've seen great success with. And what I really like about Locker Room is it's a really nice community. Certainly it can get a little chippy, just when people are talking about big games and debating sports facts and things along those lines. But generally speaking, it's a very respectful community, and there's no need to be nervous or anxious about joining a room or talking. I was, candidly, I was nervous the first time I raised my sort of virtual hand and spoke, but you really found that all of a sudden you were just having a nice conversation with friends that you've never met before.
Yeah, absolutely. What you were to your point, yeah, it is very much a welcoming community. There are times there, yet just for instance, yesterday I was listening to the What Are the Odds in the locker room, and they were talking about gambling, and then they were doing what they called an emergency room. They did it on Friday, and then someone kind of said something, and I just rolled my eyes. I was like, there's no need for this. But overall, like you said, everyone's very much supportive, and they're really good about feeding in content to the people that are hosting the room. Can you talk about your degree that you got in? Is it sports business management?
Yeah, so I got my undergrad degree from Michigan, studying sociology, and then I spent a couple of years in the workforce. I worked for the university for a while, planning events at the Big House for their major donors, also our ceremonial events, so graduation. That really kind of gave me my first taste of what is it like to be on the business side of sports. I'd always been a fan, but frankly never really thought about it. I was like, oh, this just sort of happens, right? And you show up, the game's there, you enjoy yourself, you go home, you don't think about it again. So I really got that first exposure to what it's like in the locker room, being a part of the sports side of being a part of the business side, rather, of sports. So I sort of realized that I really enjoyed that, and ended up going to NYU and got a master's in sports business, which really allowed me to understand what parts of business I enjoyed through a medium that I am a fan of, right? A sports fan. And I think that sports has just this amazing way of bringing people together. And I really wanted to make a difference through sports. And that was initially why I went back, and I started working at Major League Baseball at an internship in one of their community-related initiatives that, helped underserved communities ensure that they had access to sports equipment. And, we created baseball diamonds and things like that. And that all happened throughout the course of my experience getting my degree at NYU. And then it just sort of continued from there.
Well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit and switch gears, maybe talk more about Michigan football. I mean, obviously every year for you guys, and it should be. I mean, you should be wanting to think and play for a national title. This year's been a disappointment. And just what I guess I wanted to ask you, what's the heartbeat? What's going on? What's the talk with Harbaugh? What do you guys think as fans, as someone that follows the team religiously? What's going on the ground there?
I think you're giving me too much credit, but I appreciate
No.
So I love sports. I love Michigan. I am a Wolverine, but I'm protective of myself, and Michigan has just let me down so many times that I've not, frankly, paid as much attention as many of my friends have this year. I've been a little bit more focused on working with locker room, but I do keep an eye on it, and it's just what always happens to us. We start the season strong. We're ranked well. We have good hopes. We certainly recruit incredibly well, and we have a strong fan base, and then we just can't pull it together. Harbaugh, I don't know. I think, I feel that I don't think anyone should be judged on this year. This isn't a normal year in sports. It's not a normal year in anything. And so to lose a job this year, to, wonder what the future of the team will be, I just don't know that it's a level playing field, no pun intended. And so hopefully, we get at least one more year out of Harbaugh, and we can see what he can do when he has, a normal season and a full deck, if you will.
I think, Jessica, when you say at the beginning too much credit, I think it's perfect what you said when you said, like, I'm protective of my team. And that's what a fan is. You're protective of the school, the team, your fandom, everything else. So don't downplay anything. Say, like, we give you too much credit, because I think it was a great answer, everything that you said.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of problems this year at Iowa. And a lot of things happen.
There's a lot of things to be. Yeah,
we made some people really mad one day, so it worked out pretty nice.
It's been an odd year overall. So you're right. No, it's. I think it's just interesting the path that you take. Now, Jessica is from Detroit. Then she went to NYU, like she said. Then she lived in Chicago. Now she lives in LA. Talk about major market. Is Dallas next, or where are we going next, Jessica? You've hit major cities.
That is the question. Who's to know? It's such a different world. Like I moved out to New York. I moved from New York out to LA last year. I actually was in Chicago between undergrad and grad school for a year. So moved out here to LA with my husband, and at the time 5-month-old, so my husband could make a career change, and we've enjoyed it. We've liked kind of spending, frankly, quarantine in like a much more comfortable environment where the weather's better. You have a little bit more space than in Manhattan when you're kind of on top of each other all the time. So I don't know what's next. We'll have to see. If you know the answer, I would love it.
No, I don't. I'm just saying you've hit some major markets.
Stick where it's warm. That's what I'm going to tell you. Yeah, especially if you're raising a little one. That's the weather's always nice when you don't have to worry about bundling them up. We both have kids, and the snow's a lot of fun. You know that, but little kids are just crazy.
Yeah,
it's better when you can get them outside.
A lot of extra clothes, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, what's cool about sports, it obviously can take you anywhere in the world, and you can work. I was working at an agency, and it took us over to the UK, and we were working with the NFL to help grow their presence over there through some of their games. So we did that. I've been with various different sports organizations, and what really tells me is wherever my family takes me, et cetera, I think there will be great opportunities because everyone loves sports all over the globe. So we'll see. I guess we'll maybe spin the globe and see where it takes us.
I think it's fantastic. And Jessica, like I said, we've met so many nice people along the way, and just the way, like you said, like sports brings people together, but it's not just about coaching or participating in whatever else. There's so much things going to sports. So the idea that you just took time away just to listen to us and to talk with us, because I hope that someone's out there listening, it doesn't matter, that they realize that there's a job opportunity in sports in some way or another, and what you've done is great. And we're big fans of Locker Room, and we're so thankful that Howard took time out, and we're so thankful that you took time out to talk with us today.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Anytime, and hopefully see you guys on Locker Room soon.
Yep.
Sounds great.
So, yeah, we're still trying to work out with those engineers, but yeah, we're trying to do something soon. So, Jessica, thank you so much for your time.
I'll crack the whip.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the weather out there. It's 19 degrees here, so enjoy the weather out there in LA.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yep. Bye. Yeah. All right. That's Jessica Albers from the Locker Room Sports audio app. And like I said, if you guys are into that whole thing, like if you may be sitting there driving in your car, you may have, trust me, you've all done it. We know it. You may have said, like, I can do what these guys are doing, or these guys are idiots. I can do so much better. You can do your own show on the Locker Room Sports audio app. I'm pretty sure it's now down on Android. When it first launched in October, it was just on the iPhone, but now you can do it as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do a power rankings, and we got to talk to Emily Van Buskirk about the shoe game, Florida LSU that she was at.
All right, everybody. Front Street Brewery, we know. It's the oldest brew pub in Iowa. I've been telling you that for probably the last year. Easy to know. They've been serving Davenport since 1992 with great beers, so get with it. They have the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, the Raging River. If you haven't tried the Cherry Bomb Blonde, you're living under a rock. All you got to do is go down to check them out at 208 East River Drive, or the tap rooms in the Freight House Complex. It's real easy to do. Just get in your car, drive, go do it. If you want to check out and see what they have for drink specials, go to their Facebook page or check them out online, www.frontstreetbrew.com. Once again, the restaurant, 208 East River Drive, the tap room is the Freight House Complex. Those are our friends from Front Street Brewery.
You like that? You like that?
This is WQAD's Matt Randazzo, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Hey, Quad Cities, it's Jaybird with Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Get your local sports talk 12 to 2 with me, T-Roy, Bomber, and Serge. Download the station app to listen to us anywhere, and like us on social media to join in the conversation. Plus, when you sign up to be an ESPN Insider, you'll get access to all of our great contests and everything that's going on at ESPN1170am.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. We are the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahinte.
Two things. Number one, it feels like Adam Gase, it feels like this is a last-ditch effort. Not to save his job, but I think to save his respectability, right? To try to say, maybe a future job. Like, I'm trying to do things right. While I'm on my way out the door here, I'm going to try to sit here and say, it's like a confession, essentially, saying like, hey, look, I messed up. I haven't handled my responsibility. That's number one. Number two, I think it's going to be harder and harder to go away from the hype that's going to come with Trevor Lawrence. If you're a New York fan, if you're a Jet fan, you're also worried about maybe even if we do surround Sam Darnold with the right skill sets or the right players, maybe this is who Sam Darnold is. Maybe he never blossoms out of this. It takes a really strong personality to bear out of that and say, that's not who I am. Maybe this is who Sam Darnold is.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
I'm Steve Weitz with NFL Network, now on the Westwood One Radio Network. A Monday night thriller in Cleveland. Lamar Jackson finished with 3 touchdowns, including a 44-yard toss to Marquise Brown after Jackson missed 2 drives in the locker room with cramps. Then, in the fourth quarter, the MVP led a 6-play, 38-yard drive, setting up a Justin Tucker game-winning 55-yard field goal to take the lead with 2 seconds left and beat the Browns 47-42 on Monday Night Football. The Eagles named Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback for Sunday's game against the Cardinals. Hurts helped Philly snap a 4-game losing streak and remain alive in the NFC East. Cowboys Vice President Stephen Jones said there will be no coaching change in Dallas. Speaking to 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, Jones said he has the utmost confidence that this ship is going to be righted quickly, said that Mike McCarthy is going to be the leader of this group. This has been NFL Network, now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
What's in store this holiday at your local Staples?
Missile Toner and Ink Nog.
'Tis the season to save big on ink and toner at Staples.
Right now, get 30% back in Staples Rewards when you spend $75 on ink or $175 on toner.
Shop in-store or pick up curbside.
Give your printer the gift of ink or toner this holiday and receive 30% back in Staples Rewards.
In-store only. Ends 12/26. Curbside available in most stores. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/30 in rewards for details.
This season, over 1,000 NFL players participated in My Cause, My Cleats by wearing customized cleats in support of the causes they're passionate about.
I like that.
Fans can also bid on player cleats at NFL.com/auction.
There you go, there you go.
And help raise funds for the causes nearest to their hearts.
That's why I'm here. Heck yeah. Woo!
It takes you. It takes me. It takes all of us to be part of a movement for the greater good.
College basketball is back. And this year, there will be March Madness. This is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
This is Matt Koss of the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Play your game with the first bet risk-free, up to $500, only at Elite Sportsbook. Just sign up for a new Elite Sportsbook account and make your first bet online. If it is graded as a loss, we will match it with a free bet up to $500. Visit EliteSportsbook.com for a list of casino locations and sign up today. You will always be in the game with Elite Sportsbook. For a limited time only. Must be 21. Visit EliteSportsbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand...
Hey, Crawford guy, go long.
No, I can't.
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike three.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot.
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Meet the Bakers.
Happy holidays!
This year, they're especially thankful for family time.
Oh, he's gotten so big.
And with pizza deals at Casey's all season long, they can spend less time in the kitchen and more time catching up.
It's so good to see you.
Now at Casey's, get 2 large single-topping pizzas for just $8.99 each.
Yum!
Casey's, here for family time, here for good.
Don't let supporting local business be all talk. Put your money where your mouth, community is. It's time to walk the walk and keep your money local. Products and services, for business or fun, you name it. You can get it all here in the Quad Cities. So be a loudmouth about supporting local business and tell others, because every dollar we keep in the Quad Cities increases our collective success. Let's do this. Learn more at keepitqc.com. A Quad Cities Chamber initiative.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB Davenport.
Low rollers, high rollers, oh, you ballers. We are here in the Hassa Castle, brought to you by Dunride Satellite and Dish.
Why have you not brought us back feeling like that before? Low rollers, high rollers, and all ballers?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a pretty good one. All right, so like we said before we went to break, and we want to thank Jessica Albers for Locker Room Sports Audio app for the interview that she gave us and giving her time. We really do appreciate her. Her and Howard have been very nice to the show, and it's nice that it's one of those things that I don't think we would stumble across if we weren't looking just to provide content to the listeners.
Well, we're just like, it's like the sports world's a big family, Bird.
Yeah?
Except, we still can't get anybody from the mothership to call in, but that's okay.
Nah, I don't want anybody. Yeah. I don't want anybody else. But
Lebitard.
In about 10 minutes, we're going to talk to Emily Van Buskirk. She was down covering the Florida LSU game. And I don't know if it's for yardbarker.com anymore, who she's writing for, because she's a phenomenal writer. I shared it on Facebook. I said, listen, it was on Facebook. I said, start reading her work now so you can say you knew her when. And we're very happy that we've created this weird, kind of like just talking to Jessica now, and another Jessica Kleinschmidt, the weird thing that for everything we can say that is awful, the cesspool of social media, we've also created good relationships with people. And with Jessica, with Emily, leading to Jessica Albers from Locker Room, all those things, those are the ones that we hold the dearest, and we actually rely on those people. We talk to them. I actually have them in contacts and say, like, what's going on here? What's going on there? Do you have a free moment of your time to talk about this? And they're always usually really nice about it. So excited to talk to Emily and really excited about all the relationships we created over the years. I can't even count on my two hands the people that we've met that know people that know people that know people. Like, you could do the Kevin Bacon game. If someone said, if someone said, can you get this athlete? We could probably do with 6 Degrees is Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
We could at least find someone who knows him. May not say they'll be on the show, but that's a crazy thing, that a world that we live in, that two dum-dums like us in the Quad Cities can that know people that know people. And that's a tribute to you, T-Roy, your personality, and myself, that people are like, they want to reach out and they want to help us out to do these things. All right, so every Tuesday, T-Roy does his power rankings, and we're going to compare them to, we used to do the SI, but they kind of went their sideways type of thing. But now we do ESPN because, I mean, it is the mothership. You're right. But they've got power rankings that are based on a power panel of more than 80 writers, editors, and TV personalities. T-Roy is going to put...
Last 4 weeks, I believe, we've had the same top 15.
I believe so.
But not exact order, but
Yeah,
either way.
so we're going to look at T-Roy's rankings compared to them. So, T-Roy...
All right, everybody, I gave this a ton of thought this morning, and we have a new number 2. Because we all know who number 1 is. It is your Kansas City Chiefs, right, Leah Bomber?
Yay, Troy, you're the best. Yay.
She's not here.
Troy, you're so funny. You're the best.
She'd be happy, though.
It is the Kansas City Chiefs for ESPN.com as well.
All right. And then now, just for my boy Erickson, so I can keep him from crying, at number 2 is the Green Bay Packers. So, Erickson, you're welcome.
According to ESPN.com, moving up from the number 4 in Week 14, it is the Green Bay Packers as well.
Huh. They had him at 4 last week as well, too.
They
Shocker.
did. According to Rob Demkowski, he says that the offense has been nearly unstoppable, and the defense has had its moments.
Yep.
Special teams mostly a disaster than a perfect kicker, Mason Crosby. Will they hold up when it matters the most? Is what he questions them.
Mason Crosby's wife?
No, I have
like a
not.
supermodel.
Ooh.
And he's just like a goofy-looking little booger.
His name's Mason.
I know. I'm just...
Okay.
All right, at number 3.
At number 3.
Coming off a huge victory this week, the Buffalo Bills.
At number 3, ESPN.com is really excited that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs decided that they could make passes together and become a QB wide receiver duo.
So they have Buffalo as well?
They have Buffalo at number 3 as well. So you've got the same thing. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. If the Steelers which we give them a lot of credit with their front office and defense, but just guard Stephon Diggs. It's okay. I mean, maybe, but it's all right. Yeah. So at number 3, they have the Buffalo Bills as well.
All right. I know they lost 2 straight, but this team is still formidable. Jade pointed out so well that they did play a lot of games in a row in a very short amount of time, I should say. I have the Steelers at number 4.
The ESPN.com Power Rankings has a team that played 4 games in 16 days. That's what I pointed out. You're right. They were down from number 2. At number 4, you match up right with what the 80 writers and entertainment people, whatever else from ESPN. But yes, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4.
Good God.
Good God. It's like you're a host of a radio show or something.
I know. It's like I feel like I might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Don't tell me what I'm doing.
Why we go to happy hour and people say I listen to your show. You guys are idiots.
I know. I tell them I have my own show.
Yep.
All right, at number 5, coming off a disappointing loss, they overlooked this team, I think, because they have a matchup with the number 1 team in our power rankings. I have 5. I have the New Orleans Saints.
Because which by the way, no one gave me any credit on this that I said that they're going to overlook the Eagles and do this. But at number 5, ESPN.com has the New Orleans Saints as well. Yes. Number 1 defense had not given up a 100-yard rusher in 3 years, just gave up 2 in 1 day. And Jalen Hurts did not, they weren't prepared. Yeah. They were overlooking it. So,
all right. This team,
can we make it a 6 for 6?
I hope so. I really do hope so. This team coming off, I think, another victory. It's all you had to do. They went on the road and they won in Vegas. I move Indianapolis up to number 6.
You're not going to go 6 for 6, buddy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Let me guess.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Rams.
They have the Los Angeles Rams at number 6. You're right.
Well, that's who I have at 7.
Yeah, they had them previously at 7. They moved up 1 spot. Now at the 7th spot, you have the Rams. You said
I have the Rams.
They actually have the Seattle Seahawks here at 9-4.
Okay.
They moved them down just a little bit, even though they just beat the pants off of
the Jets.
The Jets.
But it was the Jets. That's fine. Well, at 8, then, I'm going to assume that either I have Tennessee, so they probably have Indy.
At 8, they have Tennessee, so obviously they've got Indy ranked a lot less.
They think Tennessee's better than Indy. Okay.
What the question really is about Tennessee is, like, there's a lot of times where we go through like week 1 through 14, and there's a lot of times where our memory goes to things. Do you think like Tennessee's overvalued right now because we think they're going to make a run like they did last year?
No, I just think that there's just a few things with their defense where they can get stuck if their defense isn't making the plays, if they make a few errors.
Okay.
If they can play from ahead and put their defense in a good spot, they're hard to beat just because they can control the ball. I mean, but it really boils down to defense for them. And they're a good damn team. I mean, they really are, top to bottom.
It's just, like I said, I think
There's
yesterday...
probably be an injury here or two there that can be the difference of any of these teams.
Yesterday when we talked about, like, do you have a fan? Do you know someone who's a fan, this and that? But, like, they're just a team that sticks there, and you're like Vrabel's a good coach.
Yeah.
I
mean, seriously, I mean, if
Tannehill's just doing his job. He's
doing his job. He's not getting as much credit as he should get. Tannehill is really good.
Is exactly what you're saying, and I know what you're going to. So, like, when I used to coach wrestling, I would tell all my wrestlers, all I need from you to do is wrestle to your seed or above. He is playing above his seed. Yeah. Where if you put him if you put him, you're like, oh, he's might be in my top 15, 16, and obviously that's the plateau because that's the number you're going by. He's actually playing above where you think he's at.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
Period. Okay, at number 9, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
At 9, they finally have the Colts.
Okay.
They had them last week at 11. Their defense is really, really good. In and out of being number 1 all season long. They're a team that I think are going to make some moves in the postseason. I'm so interested in the 3 seed in both teams, both leagues.
Interesting. I'm looking at their rankings, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go through their top 8, those are all division leaders. Indy and Tennessee are tied atop that division. Yeah. And I want to say Tennessee might have the tiebreaker right now. So maybe that's how they put it, and that's how they did it. But anyway, that's...
Yeah. Okay. Number 10.
Number 10, I have the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. And they had them higher.
Yeah, because here's the deal. Right? I should have included Indy in that at 9. At 9 on, those are the teams that either are number 1 in their division or tied for first. Because Seattle and the Rams are tied, and Indy and Tennessee are tied. And who do they have at 10?
They've got the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to justify their reason for this, okay?
Okay, because I have them at 11.
They're the only NFL team to rank in the top 10 on offense, defense, and special teams. So what is going on with the Baltimore Ravens then?
Told you, it's O-line problems. They're not running the ball like they were. Now, the last few weeks they have. Of course, when you play Dallas, that helps.
Yeah.
But big night last night. Good divisional win.
That is crazy that they're
and
like
the only you said, I have them at 11, so who do they have at 11?
They've got the Cleveland Browns at 11.
Over Tampa Bay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at 12, I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. They've got Tampa Bay at 12.
That's what I was going to say. Okay. And
top 10 in offense, top 10 in defense, special teams not so much. At 13.
13, I have Miami.
They have Miami as well. Yep. Offense needs to get a little bit better according to this. They've got a top 10 defense. They've got special teams as number 2 overall. We've mentioned that.
You watch those first 4 picks next year. Miami's going to mop up on offensive players. I mean, they're just going to they're going to get loaded up in offensive players.
And 2 out of the 4 take line to protect Tua.
Yep.
At 14.
At 14, I had Cleveland. I'm assuming they're going to have Arizona.
They do have Arizona at 14. Good call, my friend. Yeah,
And
Arizona's got a top 11 defense, special teams in the top 10, but I don't believe that they're underrated at all where you have them at or where they have them at.
Okay. Yeah, I have them at 12. They have them at 14. Yeah. At 15, I have Vegas Raiders. I'm assuming they do too.
They do too. Yep, it's 7-6, the Las Vegas Raiders, and I don't know what's going on with these guys at all. There's no balance whatsoever, and there's nothing inside and out what you can figure out you're getting from them. 1 week, Carr looks like he could be back in MVP form. The next, you just don't know why you even bet on the Raiders or even thought they were going to win the game. So,
right.
They just fired their defensive coordinator, which is never that too good of a sign the next week. But we'll see what happens there. That's all. All right, we're gonna zig while you guys thought we're gonna zag. We're gonna talk about college football because we're gonna call our friend Emily Van Buskirk, talk to her about the LSU Florida game and all the crazy hijinks that she was involved in when she was down there. If she answers, she was nice enough to tweet about us though.
She did?
Yeah, she tweeted about it. Said, "Listen here." She shared us. Look at her.
Hello.
Emily.
Hi.
How's it going?
Don't yell at her.
Oh.
Pretty good.
I want her to be as excited to be on the show as I am to have her on the show.
I'm very excited. I'm always excited to talk to you guys.
How things going out there in beautiful California?
It's actually cold for the first time.
Don't talk.
Year.
It's 19 degrees here, Emily.
Don't do that to us.
Yeah.
What is it? 65?
That's actually a really good question. It's 66. Or no, it's 55. So it's cold.
55? Okay. That's
cold.
short weather for me, but I dig it, kid. I dig it. I was so glad I was reading your tweet that we made it home finally and you went straight to bed the other night.
I slept for I think I slept for 18 hours. I was so tired because that trip I used to take those trips all the time. I'm a little bit older now, so it's definitely harder to go, with 9 hours of sleep in 3 days. But it was completely worth it. This weekend was incredible. So,
well, it was so interesting, and I know you've probably talked to everybody you know about this. We have to ask you about the shoe game. Just to be there at that great game. It was a great game no matter what. But I guess from what I heard and it might have been your tweet after the game, the kid that did get the penalty for throwing the shoe was just beside himself for the mistake. What else do you have on it?
I mean, that was it's so crazy. Being at the game was incredible, but people have been asking, my thoughts on it, but we really didn't get to see too clearly what was going on because the fourth quarter, the field was enshrouded in this thick fog. And I asked the Florida staff, I said, is this kind of normal for you guys? And they said, no, this never happens, ever. So people are scrambling. The cameras are trying to figure out a way to show the game. I heard the TV broadcast was difficult to see, but we really couldn't see what happened until after, and they're talking about it. And we saw the replays the same as you guys. So, my perspective is the same as everybody else's. It was shocked, not quite understanding what was going on, but just really not comprehending what would go through Marco Wilson's mind when he does that. And there's different accounts. They say he ripped off Cole Taylor's shoe. Some say that he saw it there and picked it up. We don't really know the true story, and the fact is he's not going to be talking about it. But I was able to sit next to a player's father on the flight home, and what he told me is that Marco Wilson was on the ground in just tears after the game in the locker room. He was inconsolable. Rightfully so. But I asked him, I said, did your son give you any reason into why Wilson did this? And he said, all my son told me is that Wilson just didn't think when he did it. He was not thinking. He just picked up the shoe, threw it, was celebrating, and that's what he told his teammates. So pretty costly error for not using your brain. This one's going to go down in history. I heard they're already making shirts that say the shoe game. This is crazy.
Oh, my God.
Well, I think... Coach
I hope the kid can just recover from it. That's the thing. I mean, seriously. I mean, he's going to beat himself up, and everybody slow down on making a shirt. It's a college kid. Give him half a break.
I think the Florida coach, Mullen, did a good job by saying, multiple times in the red zone they didn't score. You missed a field goal.
Right.
It's not just this, that's one time. And obviously that's what happens is you are going to focus on those things. Did you get to spend time with the coach's wife? Is that what you texted me last week?
I was supposed to
she
be meeting with her and
ghosted you.
chatting with her, but I didn't get to because I almost didn't make it there. Is the reality of the situation? I was calling the high school game Friday night in Kentucky, and I was having a hard time figuring out how to get from Owensboro, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, to get there, from there to Gainesville, which is also a small airport. And at one point after the game Friday night, I had just tacked it in and said, I'm going to go home. There's no way I can get to Gainesville for this game. And then this miracle happened where I was able to fly into Jacksonville, Saturday morning. And a friend of mine, Chrissy Freud, who's also a sports writer, covers LSU, who had driven to Gainesville from Baton Rouge. She offered to come pick me up in Jacksonville, an hour 15 away, so that I was able to go to the game. It was all kind of last minute. Yeah, it was kind of this crazy trip, but it all worked out. And I was the only one this whole time picking LSU to win. I had this feeling. I was telling everybody, LSU had nothing to lose going into this game. It's a bunch of sophomores and freshmen playing with nothing to lose. That's a very deadly combination against a team that has everything to lose. I mean, literally their playoff contention was at stake. So I had this feeling LSU was going to upset them. I did not know it was going to be this crazy of a game, but I was the only one that picked them. And the whole game, people were coming up to me like, how did you know? Who did you talk to? Who did you put a hex on? And I was like, listen, this is just one of those gut feelings that I had that they were just going to play out of their minds. And the defense is really what surprised me and stepped it up. LSU's defense played amazing. The DBs who had been criticized all year, these young DBs got in and got to prove that they were hungry and ready to go. So it was incredible.
Yeah. That's a great point, though. A bunch of sophomores and freshmen that, just hungry and then nothing to lose to go out there, and the other team has everything to lose. So it's
reminds me of the line from The Breakup. Remember, he goes, a bunch of Polacks without a future.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've seen that one in a while.
That's a funny line.
So
Vince Vaughn, he's so hilarious.
We're getting into the season now where we've got title games and college football games and bowl games and whatnot. How are you following along with everything that gets canceled? Because who just pulled out? Washington just pulled out of the Pac-12 championship game. There's reports right now.
That wasn't their fault. It is their fault. They didn't have enough players they didn't have enough scholarship players to field the team. But the way that it's written, the way the Pac-12 devised this contingency plan if something happened is, the next team goes in. Okay, well that happens to be Oregon, and the whole way that it's set up for Oregon to play USC. It's just like, why are we doing this? I don't understand what the Pac-12, if Larry Scott is not out after this, there's nothing that will get him out. Because it does not make sense to put these two best teams that are looking to try and at least get into, a New Year's Six Bowl through a game like this where one of them's going to get completely beat up, if not both. And playing another game is more risk for COVID, more risk for postseason. It's just crazy to me the way they're handling that. But I know Washington's pretty disappointed. I talked to a couple of their coaches, and the players were really looking forward to a Pac-12 championship trophy. Now they're focusing on the best bowl game they can get into and winning that game. So, but it's just crazy. It's too much.
I feel the same way about Mike McCarthy.
I
bet.
So I know we rely on you a lot for the Pac-12, and we're deep in the Big Ten here.
Lot. We rely on you 100% about Pac-12. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. So trust me, she can tell you multiple times that I've texted her and asked her about gambling odds and been like this team or whatever else. So, but the Big Ten.
He's only doing that for research, Emily. That's it. It's not because he's really gambling.
Yeah. The Big Ten, their championship Saturday is just disintegrating before our eyes. Purdue and Indiana is now out. There's
Iowa and Michigan. The rumor is it's not going to play.
The rumor is right now it's not going to happen. Iowa versus Michigan.
Well, they just canceled it, didn't they, or no?
Mark Morehouse is saying that he did. Friend of the show, Adam Kelly's message me right now. Nothing's been reported yet. I texted someone else just to figure it out. But yes, apparently Michigan says that they're under COVID protocol. So Emily, really, what that means is that I just know now you're not going to email the Iowa SIDs and come hang out in Iowa City for the Iowa-Michigan game, so I'm disappointed.
Yeah, this weekend has been weird because I've been trying to figure out, is it worth it to go out to a Pac-12 or any championship game at this point? But now that we're seeing them kind of just fall, all these things are falling apart. I've been kind of hedging and waiting. I did apply to the Conference USA championship game, which is at Marshall versus UAB, which doesn't at first blush seem like, that enticing of a game. But Marshall having that just awful game against Rice their last time out, where they were shut out by a team that they're infinitely better than, is going to be looking to come back and win the conference and make a statement against UAB and hopefully get into a decent bowl game. I love games like this between small programs that fight really hard. UAB has played some good teams this year. UAB played Miami, and while they didn't win, they have a really great running back and they hung tough. So I'm actually excited for this. It's going to be kind of a gritty, physical game between these two teams, and it's going to come down to whether Marshall can get their offensive line back together, because that's really what hurt them, is they were missing 2 or 3 of their main offensive linemen, Will Ulmer and a couple other guys. So they had young guys starting, and that's, I think, where it fell apart for Grant Wells, throwing 5 interceptions against Rice. Can't do that if you're a quarterback and you're trying to win a game. So
No, you shouldn't do that at all. Yeah.
No, no. But it reminded me, I texted one of my buddies who's the O-line coach at Houston, who used to be at Cal, and after that game I said, Brandon, did that not remind you of when Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions against Utah and lost? And then, look at him now. So people make mistakes, quarterbacks make mistakes, and as long as he bounces back in this game, then we'll get a chance to see what he's really made of.
Before we let you go and let you enjoy that cold weather there in California.
Yeah, stay warm.
Let's just talk about your crusade for the fullback.
Okay.
Because obviously you met our friend.
Would you like to know?
You met our friend at Army, who's actually from this area. We went to the same high school together.
Yeah.
He's younger than me, Matt Drinkle out there, and he's champion also make fullbacks great again. So what's the push of that? So I think it was 2 games ago, T-Roy, I texted Emily and I was like, Iowa's put a fullback out there 25% of their plays, and she said, let's go. So what's the deal? What's the deal with the fullbacks?
I love that this has become the brand for me, and I'm not even mad. And I encourage everybody to text me when they see a fullback play because it makes my heart happy. But really what happened is last year at the national championship game, Torrey Carter from LSU was wearing one of those hats that said, "Make fullbacks great again" at the media day. And I had never seen that before. And I've always been a fullbacks girl, not as much outwardly as I have lately of taking up this crusade, but ever since Owen Marisic played at Stanford, way back in the Andrew Luck days, he played both sides of the ball. He was one of the greatest college fullbacks I've ever seen. Didn't translate into pro, but that's okay. So, some of the great fullbacks don't. So I've always been on a lookout for these guys that are just gritty, tough players, very quiet, but, a little bit crazy. And they're just hard workers. So when I saw Torrey wearing that at the Natty, I went up to him and struck up a conversation about it, asking him where he got it. And it turns out his sister had bought it for him from Keith Smith's website. Keith Smith is the Atlanta Falcons fullback, and he started this clothing line called Make Fullbacks Great Again. There's hats and shirts. If you're a fullback fan, definitely go to the website, makefullbacksgreatagain.com, and order one for yourself or your friends. And it's this fraternity for these guys that are part of what people want to perceive as a dying position. So I had Keith on the podcast. It's a really great episode. If anyone wants to go listen to it, Sideline Sass, you could search the fullback episode. And he talks about why he made it, what it means to have this fraternity with fullbacks in all the teams. CJ Ham, Kyle Juszczyk, all these guys are friends, and they check in on each other, just being from this position. Because the one thing about a fullback is it's a lonely position. There's no position coach. There's no group for them. They either go with the running backs or they go with the tight ends, but they've never had a place that's their own. So that's kind of why he made the thing, the clothing. So this year, obviously talked to Matt Drinkle. We connected, and I started this kind of quest to understand what happened to the fullback in the modern offense. Matt Drinkle brought up all these questions, and he said, if you could ask Gus Malzahn these questions, that would help us figure it out. So that's what I did. I called up Gus Malzahn. I asked him, how the fullback fit into this modern spread offense, and he talked to me about the Delaware wing T. He talked to me about how they've utilized the fullback and turned it into an H-back a bit. And I also talked to Rich Rodriguez because he is often credited with the founding of the spread offense at Glenville State in 1997. I actually have some of his plays, his playbook pages that was sent over from Glenville State from those years, and they're just incredible. So I wrote this whole piece with all these people that contributed, fullbacks from past, fullbacks from present, coaches. I talked to Daryl Johnston on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
My boy Moose.
Yeah. He's an incredible guy. Like, I love talking to him, and we could have talked a lot longer about a lot more things, but he's really somebody who helped me understand a little bit more what that was like in the NFL. And his stories with Emmitt Smith are just incredible. So if anyone wants to hear that, definitely check out that podcast. But I just wrote this piece, and I'm sitting on it, waiting for someone to take a chance on why college football didn't kill the fullback. And it's an incredible article, probably my favorite thing I've ever written, probably the best thing I'll ever write. And just waiting for a website, a bigger site to take a chance on it. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not going to stop, no matter what. So
yeah, I shared your piece that when you were down in Florida and said, like, listen, if you gotta say you remember when before she hits it big and everything else, and you write incredibly well.
Did you like the Taylor Swift references?
Yes, love the Taylor Swift references.
He's a big T Swiftie fan.
I'm not a Swiftie.
He is.
No, I'm not.
No,
I am not.
Fan.
Don't do that.
Everybody is a closeted Taylor Swift fan.
No,
right?
I'm not.
And he's got me watching this stupid show, MTV The Challenge, the double agent version.
Tomorrow night, yeah. So what we need to do is, honestly, there can't be a single person out there that's listening that doesn't want to hear like more stories that you get to share, especially like when you talk about Rich Rod or whatever else. Like, gosh, I hope there's a time that we can all just like hang out, happy hour, and we can invite the Hasselmaniacs to meet you or whatever.
A meet and greet.
Yeah.
When you write your first book.
Absolutely.
When you write your first book, we're gonna have a meet and greet at Pints. You're gonna sign copies, and I'll pay for all your drinks.
So you mentioned a name in there, though. I got to ask. Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
$21.7 million.
Yep.
Who's going to be the next coach at Auburn?
See, this is tough. I was actually on the plane back home and landed to that news. I had no idea. And Gus Malzahn has become a friend, because of our work on this. And then I did a story on his coaching journey because he started in high school. I mean, he coached 10 years in high school ball, and he's such a big proponent of small ball beginnings. So he and I talked, he told me stories about how he used to drive the bus in high school and clean the toilets and all these things. Like, that was where he got his start. I was very surprised that Auburn decided to do this. I know that they've been struggling, but I know they feel like they needed a change. It felt premature to me, but Kevin Steele, the coach that's stepping in as interim, is a very good friend of mine. I met him at the Senior Bowl, and I'm going to reach out to him and see what his thoughts are, but they're in very good hands right now. I don't know who you can get to replace Gus Malzahn because he's a legendary coach. And obviously coaches are going to go through low. I mean, look at David Shaw. He won 4 games last year. Nobody said boo. No one said they're going to fire him. No one said he's going to be let go. But it's crazy to me that this is happening. And I don't know where he's going to go, but wherever he does go will get a great coach. And I'm not sure who's going to replace him. There's so many speculation about who's going to go to Auburn, but whoever does take up that mantle, those are big shoes to fill. So I'm almost to be a little nervous being that coach heading into that situation, knowing that you're expected to have results right away. That's a little bit scary to me. And I'm not sure that there is a name out there right now that I would throw in there to be, that guy. So,
I mean, isn't the only
result... Don't know better than me.
Yeah, isn't the result for Auburn just to beat Alabama and then let the pieces fall after that? I mean, that's the sad part about it.
I mean, I guess SEC football is so weird. You do one thing and that's great. You have this one game that's on ESPN with comeback victory and then you're fine, but you could lose all the other games and it doesn't matter. I feel like they need a little more stability and longevity than that. And I felt like Malzahn had that to a degree. Like, maybe he didn't beat Alabama as many times as they want, but that doesn't mean that he's not a good coach. He's not a good shaper of young men. And that's the other thing that I think gets lost in these coaching searches is how good of a leader. And we're seeing that this year more than ever with COVID, is which programs really recruited the right kind of guys to make it through seasons like this with all of the adversity going on. Which are the good coaches? Which are the guys that look for the players that are truly not just on the field, but off the field good men and how they're leading them. So you look at guys like Jimmy Lake at Washington, Justin Wilcox at Cal, even Willie Fritz at Tulane. These are good coaches that place an emphasis on making these players better men and better players. So that's kind of they're going to need somebody like that, in my opinion. But like you said, I don't know that that'll be the primary focus. It's just, can you beat Alabama?
Yeah.
Which, okay. And then what?
No, that's what I said. You beat them and let the pieces fall where they may. Emily, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm telling you, when this whole thing is done, you've got to come to Iowa, because I'm telling you, there's so many people that want to hear stories. Like, every time we talk to you, you drop a name that I'm just so, every time, I'm just like, I can't believe, like, she knows him this well, and you've got stories to tell about everything else. And
does anybody ever ask about us?
No.
No. I know J&T right from QC Hassel.
More importantly, does Jessica Kleinschmidt ever ask about me?
Oh, boy.
No, I mean, Matt Greenwald said to say hi to you guys.
Yeah, just say hi. Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate you so much. And like I said, when this is all said and done, we got to find a time to get you into town, just so that people can hear your stories and talk with you, and they get to, hang out with someone who's been so good to us at this show.
Seriously,
Anytime,
just write like a children's book, and then you can be here. I just want to party.
Anytime. Tell me, I'm on a plane. It's easy for me to get there. Just let me know when.
All right. Well, soon when it warms up, because I don't want you being too cold. Okay.
Fair enough. Exactly.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you so much for your time. We will talk to you very soon.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. That's Emily Van Buskirk. You can follow her at MLM on Twitter. She writes, and she's got her podcast, Sideline Sass. Does great work, and seriously, I hope somebody picks up that article. It's right. She's a fantastic writer. She does a great job. I didn't even feel bad that I forgot to ask her about.
She could seriously write like memoirs of a female college football reporter.
The thing that's cool,
and just like kind of give a little bit of her history, like how I started, what happened, some of her funny stories in between, and then wrap it up. I mean, that thing would sell insane.
The thing that's cool about Emily is that she's got such an infectious personality that once the idiots get over like that she's a female in sports, like they'll talk to her like she's one of their own. Like the things that she's done I seriously, I love it when she's like at the Natty. Like she just talks about the national championship. She just calls it the Natty. Yeah. She goes and covers it. But she's like, when she tells stories that she sat down, with Ed Orgeron and just like in a bar, or the Mike Leach stories that she has. It's insane. It's just like, but she has that.
Wasn't it last year at the Natty?
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that had Orgeron with the best question of the time. Remember?
Yeah.
It was something along the lines of.
But it went viral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like her and like Rosso does the same thing, but with her, like I said, it's so neat because she just.
God, what was that question, Jay? It was something along the lines. He's like, "Well, I didn't know." He goes, "It's."
It's sum it up in one word or whatever else.
Yeah.
And then it went, then went viral from there. But yeah, she.
He just said, "Boom, dominant."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one.
Do you want to elaborate? You said one word.
Yeah, you said one word. Yeah. So, and again, I'm always happy that she takes the time to talk to us, and that she was at that game that we've referenced now for 2 days about the shoe and everything else. And she didn't need to give us 20 minutes of her time. But that being said, I got some things to do.
This job and shove it.
Yeah, I got some things to do. I got to get out of here early. So what we're going to do is we're going to run some ads, and then we're going to flip over to the ESPN Live. So we are stopping about 23 minutes, a little early, 22 minutes early. For some reason, and I have no problem with the internet, it's saying on the Facebook Live that the thing got cut off, but I've had no problems with the internet whatsoever today.
Boy.
So, but I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Don't House Us So Local. We'll be back tomorrow. Obama will be in studio.
Diggity. We're going to be guessing the odds, or we're going to be guessing against the money line, I should say.
And much, much more. But thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for the phone call from Jessica Albers and from Emily. You guys enjoy yourselves. Quad City, stay warm. It's 19 degrees, and hopefully probably won't get any better for a while till maybe March. So
Bundle up.
Bundle up. See you soon.
This is Lobo from Lobo Salsa. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
The holidays are right around the corner. Don't stress out finding that perfect gift for that hard-to-buy someone on your list. Shop Premier Metal Art. They do custom engraving on items like tumblers, promotional items, and other custom gifts. They even do holiday decor and family namesakes. These multi-layered, full-color, powder-coated metal art items are a must-have this holiday season. Customize your man cave or purchase a gift for a sports fan, a first responder, or even a veteran. Order now online at qcpremier.com or on Facebook. Finish your holiday shopping today.
Ace Muffler Clinic has been serving the Quad Cities area for over 60 years. There's a reason why our customers continue to trust us with their vehicles. We can fix almost anything. We can fix your muffler, tune your brakes, change your oil, change your tires, replace your battery, customize your exhaust, tune your engine, repair your suspension, replace your radiator and your water pump. Align your automobile, refill your transmission fluid, and change your filters. And we believe in doing all those things right the first time. For fast, friendly service, visit Ace Muffler Clinic at 4th Ave and 15th Street in Rock Island.
Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
Two things. Number one, it feels like Adam Gase, it feels like this is a last-ditch effort. Not to save his job, but I think to save his respectability, right? To try to say, maybe a future job. Like, I'm trying to do things right. While I'm on my way out the door here, I'm going to try to sit here and say, it's like a confession, essentially, saying like, hey, look, I messed up. I haven't handled my responsibility. That's number one. Number two, I think it's going to be harder and harder to go away from the hype that's going to come with Trevor Lawrence. If you're a New York fan, if you're a Jet fan, you're also worried about maybe even if we do surround Sam Darnold with the right skill sets or the right players, maybe this is who Sam Darnold is. Maybe he never blossoms out of this. It takes a really strong personality to bear out of that and say, that's not who I am. Maybe this is who Sam Darnold is.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than just serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable. Serving part-time lets you attend school full-time while you take advantage of education benefits that can help you graduate debt-free. If a civilian career is your goal, serving part-time allows you to work at a full-time job. The skills, qualities, and contacts you'll develop in the Guard can open doors to a great civilian career. Want to serve but worried about being away from friends and family? Part-time service in the Army National Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want while you enjoy the many benefits of serving your community and nation. You owe it to yourself to learn more about how the Army National Guard can fit into your life. Visit NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Iowa Army National Guard. Aired by the Iowa Broadcasters Association and this station.
Football is back at the Double Crown. No fans allowed in the stands, so get the best seats possible at the Double Crown Bar and Grill. During all big college football games, enjoy $5 pitchers of domestics and $2 wells. Stop in for lunch during the week. Tuesday is all-you-can-eat wings and Friday nights all-you-can-eat fish, both for just $11. Plus happy hour daily from 2 till 6. For daily specials, find them on Facebook. Double your fun every day at the Double Crown Bar and Grill, 217 Brady Street, downtown Davenport.
The Max Kellerman Show.
Like, who was that, Greeny, who said the time to say about personal pride was weeks ago? I mean, I understand what he's saying. He's not wrong. It's fine, but I don't think it would have made a difference. Keyshawn saying they started Foles and it's no. I disagree. The issue is one thing with Chicago. They have no offensive line, period. That's the whole problem. No offensive line. They have a thin receiving core, it's true, but no offensive line. If I had to design a football team, and I have like 10 spots where I can put all my resources, right? Where am I going to put all my resources? Like, what 10 spots do I want covered out of a roster of 50, right? I want a stud quarterback, of course, everyone does. My next 5 spots will be stud offensive linemen.
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service also allows me to be there for my community in ways others can't. I help my hometown recover after nature strikes. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country and those I care about safe from threats. I also work with a network of professionals that help me succeed. Also, the Army National Guard's education benefits make getting a higher education a reality. Being an Army National Guard soldier makes living and serving in my community more rewarding every day. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Iowa Army National Guard. Aired by the Iowa Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too. There's no cost and no obligation. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Get started today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
The gyms may be empty, but the courts are full, and the action is underway. We're talking college basketball on your sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Finisher Jeff Neal, looking for his 8th win in a row.
Wow!
Plus, a full card of hard-hitting action. Don't miss UFC Fight Night live, only on ESPN Plus.
Mike Greenberg is Greeny.
If you believe Ohio State as a 6-0 Big Ten champ has accomplished more, has earned that 4th spot more than a Texas A&M team, then fine. What I'm saying is the idea that 13 people would sit in a room, watch the games, and say, in my opinion, that team is better than that team, so they're going regardless of who earned what, is stupid.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN Plus. ESPN Radio presents the ACC Championship. 2nd-ranked Notre Dame, 3rd-ranked Clemson. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by Goodyear.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
ESPN Radio presents the Big 12 Championship. 7th-ranked Iowa State, number 11 Oklahoma. Coverage begins Saturday morning at 11:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Horace Libre, run free.
On the next 30 for 30.
The Tara Humarans are among the world's best long-distance runners.
They live to run.
The act we perform, the very humble act of running, is what unites us all.
Run to live.
Winning all this cash and corn, they're bringing hope to the communities.
And to persist, they must keep running.
Tenemos que correr.
An all-new 30 for 30. The Infinite Race. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Keyshawn Johnson.
You hate to see where coaches become real slick with their tongues, and I hated it as a player. That's why I was always one to fire back.
He knows the NFL.
Patrick Mahomes won one so far. He's headed in the right direction.
And the NFL knows him.
Early in his career, so you can't say he's the greatest of all time. This is only his 3rd year as a starter.
Get inside the NFL with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin every morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny.
Steven Ruiz, the Chargers head coaching job, is attractive in many ways, but it's also like buying a house where someone was murdered.
Yeah, and I started thinking about like what other types of houses the other teams were.
Oh boy. Okay.
And the Jets are like a very crappy house. It looks terrible, but in the backyard, there's a nice pool. And that nice pool is obviously Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is ESPN Radio.
Former NFL wide receiver and 2-time Super Bowl champ Torrey Smith joins us.
Joining me now, Dana White.
Not only do I love it, and it's great for the sport, but the fans love it.
Vanderbilt kicker and viral sensation Sarah Fuller with us.
It's weird going to Target and people asking for selfies and stuff.
Guy Drew, Baylor head basketball coach.
Kyle Trask, star quarterback at Florida.
Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team with us.
Larry Zonka, the legendary Miami Dolphin.
It's fun to celebrate
the fact that we're still the only unbeaten.
Aaron Jones, running back of the Green Bay Packers, is joining us.
I appreciate you guys. I'm big fans of all three, so thank you.
The head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, who is with us.
JB Chadwell, the head coach of Coastal Carolina, joining us.
The legendary Roger Staubach.
If you talk to my wife, she'd say, oh, well, I tell you, he doesn't yell ever, except when the Cowboys are playing.
The biggest names in sports are here, and it all starts weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, and continues all day. This is ESPN Radio. Spain and Fitz.
The Big Ten didn't wait for everybody else. They moved on their own. And now I think they're paying the ultimate price for that. They're not getting any flexibility in return from everybody else. Without the ability to move games and without the rest of the college football world looking around saying, hey, how can we help you guys out here? Wisconsin could be the first team eliminated from playoff conversation that actually may have a legit argument for being considered.
Spain and Fitz, weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and wherever you stream your audio.
The Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, and on your smart speaker. Going to get back to that wild Monday Night Football game in a few. You can reach me at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is changing the way you buy home insurance. Now you can go online, get a custom quote, and save both time and money. Learn more at Progressive.com.
You got questions, and he's got answers.
So what am I going to do here?
This is Max Me Anything.
Let's take a call in Florida to start. Ronald in Florida, you're on the Max Kellerman Show. Go ahead, Max Me Anything, Ronald.
Hey, Max. Okay, here we go, brother. Whose career would you have rather had as it currently stands? Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers by far. Because if Rodgers never got a Super Bowl, you could say Eli, because Eli was an average to a tick above average starter in the regular season, though he had an Iron Man streak, which really helps you in the NFL. But in the playoffs, he's one of the all-time greats. But Aaron Rodgers is at his peak until I saw Patrick Mahomes, the best I'd ever seen. And by the way, right now, in the middle of Patrick Mahomes' prime, it looks like, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP right now by a little bit. So, and the fact that he has won a Super Bowl, and he's not a guy who plays worse in the playoffs, right? There are some guys like Peyton Manning, Eli's brother, Peyton, greatest regular season player who ever lived, but not great in the playoffs. If you want to ask me between Eli and Peyton, that's an interesting question. But Eli and Rodgers is easy for me. That's Rodgers. And by the way, the answer for me, Eli or Peyton, I think it's Eli, man. I think I'd rather be the dude who gets much, much better under pressure than the dude who folds. And I know Peyton won 2 Super Bowls, but the second one, he really was just game managing. He wasn't doing anything, and he had a bad year. The first one he deserves credit for, but he had so many bad playoff performances. Remember when they lost to the Jets, like 41-0 or something? And everyone's like, well, he has no defense. I'm like, what's 41-0 got to do with the defense? Nothing. I'm talking about the offense. Mark in Brooklyn, you're on the Max Kellerman Show, ESPN Radio. Max Me Anything, Mark.
Hey, Max. How's it going? Big fan. I'm on the Kawhi Leonard bandwagon as well. Just
I don't know if you heard about
that
bandwagon. It capsized. But go ahead.
Just want to talk about Giannis and AD comparison.
Yeah.
I hear that Drew Holiday might not be the second player to that championship team, but I don't think the comparison is fair. I think Giannis in any division would be a top 4 seed, being that he makes his whole team better. I mean, the whole team is just different when Giannis is on the floor.
Well,
AD, where he's an ISO player, AD.
Well, listen, AD defensively is a beast. Let's start there. He's an all-time great defender before we even get to his offensive efficiency, which is also one of the best of all time. So if you want to argue Giannis is better by a hair, okay, but it's very, very close. And I think most people right now would take AD. He got the luster of that championship stink all over him right now. What a show by Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield. Monday Night Football review coming up. Max Kellerman Show, ESPN Radio.
Somebody give me something,
something to believe. The College Football Playoff on ESPN and ESPN Radio, coming New Year's Day.
Free shipping is great. Free shipping no minimum? That's that Walmart Plus magic for your holiday. Get all your last-minute shopping done with free next-day or two-day shipping on a huge selection of eligible items from Walmart.com. With no order minimum, free shipping means the freedom to click that order button to your heart's content. Just another added benefit to your membership. Maybe that's why it's called Walmart Plus. Start your 15-day trial today at walmart.com/plus. See membership details. Restrictions apply.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Mike Greenberg, Greeny.
The Jets defensive coordinator just handed it to them. A perfect encapsulation of what the New York Jets have been all year. And for anyone who thinks that was an example of them tanking, what you were doing is you were actually giving them far too much credit. That would suggest something organized, planned, and executed successfully. And the New York Jets have not done any of those three things this football season.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN Plus. Unfiltered. Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
Antonio Brown is much like Cam Newton. There's a little bit of polarizing. So the first thing you look to, oh my God, they're 1-3 since they signed Antonio Brown. Stop. Don't try to make it seem as though because they signed Antonio Brown that they all of a sudden are 1-3 without giving us everything. It wasn't like they just played a bunch of cupcakes. It was murderer's row. What has happened, Jay Will, is you have a Porsche, a nice truck, Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, a Bentley, and then all of a sudden you decide that you're going to go get a Ferrari. So you neglect all those other cars that you've been driving around in for a while. And Byron Leftwich, along with Bruce Arians, can't figure out how to drive all the cars.
Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, or on ESPN News.
Hey, it's Scott Van Pelt, back in the podcast game. SV Pod. My guy Stanford Steve alongside. Present. I do nothing without Stanford Steve. I can do nothing. I can't think without the man, so he's here to keep me company and maybe chop it up, talk some stories. Look, you know what podcasts are. It's the same deal. Rate, review, subscribe. One big thing, dive a little deeper, maybe some bad beats, whatever's interesting to you. Sounds good. There you go. We'll see you on the other side. Wait a minute. What time do we start? See?
You're good. Oh, you're good.
That was it?
Yeah.
You have cancer. There's nothing you can do to prepare yourself.
Round 1 of chemotherapy. I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna survive. There's no way I'm gonna let this take over me.
Cancer doesn't care what you look like, who you are.
It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love.
You ain't get this cancer about you. Let's do it.
Live. Fight like hell. And when you get too tired to fight, let somebody else fight for you.
Because of all the donations, mine is one of the lives that's been saved. 1, 2, 3. Never give up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Visit v.org/donate.
This Saturday, the UFC returns with a welterweight showdown. Former title challenger Stephen Wonderboy Thompson will use his elite striking to try to turn back the dangerous finisher Jeff Neal, looking for his 8th win in a row.
Wow!
Plus, a full card of hard-hitting action. Don't miss UFC Fight Night live, only on ESPN Plus. The NFL and Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
I don't know what to say about the Seahawks defense. Win the division, get in the playoff, and see where your defense is at.
Strong opinions, in-depth analysis, from the biggest stories in the NFL.
They've already set a narrative in their minds in the organization that he's hella young and hella immature and he's never going to grow. So they start treating you like a kid.
Complete coverage of the NFL with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
ESPN Radio presents the NBA's opening night. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the defending champion Lakers face Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and the Clippers.
James drive, puts it up with an emphatic right hand. Kawhi quickly shoot a three and hit again.
The Lakers and Clippers on opening night. Coverage begins Tuesday, December 22nd at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, the Bucks making sure Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't going anywhere anytime soon. He announced on social media he'll sign a 5-year extension